Sound speeds, and I thought I'd bring you along on a journey with me. But before I do, let me set it up for you. A few months ago, I bought an AKG C535EB microphone. It's the one right behind me. Now, I bought it and it actually ended up having some defects. I wrote to the seller and they said, well, I didn't actually test it before I sent it to you because I had 12 of them. I tested like half of them and I assumed they were all going to be good. So he actually paid for it to be repaired out of the amount of money that I paid him for it. Now, I sent it to AKG, or actually Harman, who owns AKG now, and it went through a full repair process. The maximum amount was paid, and because they do have a cap for all the parts and repair that they do, which is nice. Upon completing the repair, they sent it back to me, and unfortunately, I tested it in a noisy environment, so I did not hear what was really going on. However, I thought it was okay. I put it away in a climate-controlled environment, and a few weeks later, when I went to grab the microphone to do some recording with it, I came to find out that it had some issues. When I first contacted Harman and told them I was going to be sending a microphone in for repair, they asked me what's wrong with it. When I said, okay, I'll make a quick video and I will show you, they said, great, we would love to hear it. So here is a quick excerpt of the video that I sent them. And there seems to be a problem with it. And I thought I would show you, first of all, that the XLR I'm using on this microphone is perfectly fine. I know you can hear that. This is muffled. Sometimes you can pick up like a radio station or something. See, it stopped there, but it's very muffled. The sound is not coming through very strong. It's you hear the radio station? I'll boost it up a little bit. There's a short or something in there. Microphones aren't supposed to sound like that. I'm sure you heard that. Everything from ground loops to RF issues. And they probably had to gut the entire microphone and rebuild it. However, that should have resolved certain things like the buzzing that now still happens whenever you touch the microphone. As a matter of fact, let me bring it over here and I will show you. Before we really get going here, I want to show you a couple of things. Number one, listen to the noise floor of this microphone. Now I want you to listen to the noise floor of this microphone. I'm sure you can hear the difference. This thing is very noisy and it sounds very active, I guess, for a lack of a better word. Now, I know that there are some problems with the grounding, and you can tell it because listen to this. I'm sure you can hear that. I'm boosting it, of course, so that way you can get a good impression of how it sounds, but it sounds bad. It is grounding to my fingers. In this video, you're going to be coming along with me as I try 3 different things to see if I can eliminate the ground out of this microphone and see if therefore I help the noise floor out a little bit too. We're going to try this live, and I know that this is going to cut out a little bit as I'm unplugging and replugging back in things, but it's all for the sake of the actual test here that we're going to be doing. I think it actually has a lot of credibility if I can try to limit my cutting. So I'm going to be doing just that. To start off with, I'm going to show you something that helps me quite a bit when I do soldering. Sorry, I'm popping the microphone. This right here is a little thing that I built. Now, I have a whole bunch of these things that I use when I solder. And the reason why is I can plug this on the end of an XLR. For example, this is an XLR version. And on this side, I have each of the 3 pins connected to each of the 3 pins on the XLR. But if you notice, there's a 4th, and that one is not marked at all. Like if I hold it close to the camera, you can see this one has 3 little bitty black lines across the cable. This one has 1, and this one has 2. That corresponds to pins 1, 2, and 3 on the XLR. But what is this extra one? That is actually the chassis ground. And the reason it's there is because it helps me troubleshoot ground issues as it basically pertains to the shell. And that's what we're going to be doing on this. On this video. We're going to be testing this microphone and seeing if I do any kind of chassis grounding. Is it going to help? Because basically, if you have a cable that has a XLR connected on the inside of it, it basically is grounded through pin 1 directly to whatever electronic device you're plugging it into. Now, a lot of Pro Audio components do tie in to the electrical system, so it's grounded to the chassis within the machine itself. However, the microphone in this case is not. Of course, it's just a hunch at this point in time, but I'm assuming that this AKG microphone is experiencing the same kind of ground loop issues that some Neumann and Microtech Gefell microphones experience. And that is basically because the casing of the microphone itself is completely isolated from the XLR connection inside of it. And therefore, any RF or RFI, EMI, any kind of interference that can hit this microphone and cause any kind of interference can make it into the actual audio sound. And by tying the microphone itself to the XLR connector, sometimes it helps out. I'm going to show you real quick what I've done regarding this connection. This is the same XLR cable that was connected to the back of the microphone before. However, this is a female connector, this is a male connector, and going to each one of the pins on the inside is soldered a little yellow wire. And on the yellow wire, if you can see, it has 3 little bitty, Sharpie marks there. 2 on this one, 1 on this one. And up here, there's 3 on this one, 2 and 1 on this one. Those corresponds to pins number 1, 2, and 3 on the inside. But then what's this other one right over there and up here? That is the chassis ground. That is the external part of the connector that connects up to the shield. So if I were to connect up this right here, you are going to basically be tying to the outer part of the case of the XLR, which is going to then ground the microphone. Now, currently it's floating. I'm going to basically tie it to earth ground essentially. So what I'm going to do is, while you're listening, we're going to connect up this ground right here to the pin number 1 ground and see what it does here. I mean, just watch what I do right here. More importantly, you might be listening to it. Okay. Not the very best way to do it here live with you seeing everything and cringing as I unplug and connect things back up. But let's hear how it does with the grounding now. The grounding is now gone if you listen. Now it's no longer buzzing. Now notice all I did was I connected up the ground of the case to pin 1, which is the ground of the XLR line. Some people swear that you need to connect up pin 1, which is the ground, to the casing on both sides of your connectors. AES says that you shouldn't as a general rule, but then of course there's many exceptions, which is why they don't make it a standard. So we see that this does work to eliminate the grounding from the microphone itself. So tying pin 1, the ground, to the XLR connector shell is allowing this microphone to now be grounded, which is great because now the buzz has gone away. However, the background noise is still there and it's in full effect. You can actually hear it better now because the ground loop is no longer there. Listen. So we got to get that thing resolved. Line number 1, the ground, is basically a drain. It tries to get rid of as much interference as it possibly can. Of course, lines 2 and 3 of the XLR is going to perhaps get their own interference, but we'll cover that in another video. Now here's the next thing that we're going to see, because we obviously see that the connector shell tying in with pin 1 definitely works. Let's try this though. Let's disable the entire ground, pin 1, and let's try just connecting up the 2 shells and see what that does. Every time I hear that, I think I'm getting electrocuted. Wow, that's really loud in my ears. I should probably turn on these headphones. Okay, that's better. Okay, so now we're back to the way we were before. Touching this now creates the ground loop again. because I'm not tying into the ground casing. Now, if I just connect it up normal and case to case, it's not going to actually do anything. And if I touch the connector, I can hear that. I don't feel any buzz, which is good. And I'm not going to because the casing is not actually doing anything. You can hear that buzz coming in and out. Sorry, it's kind of an awkward angle. The third way we're going to be testing this is with the EMC connector. If you haven't seen my product review of the EMC connector, check it out. I love the things. Now, if you've seen that video, you will have heard me say that the EMC connectors that I have are on the end of my booms, and this is no exception. My boom pole, this is one boom pole I have right here. It's getting really tight space-wise here for me. But this right here is an EMC connector just on this female end, not the male end, because you only need it on one end, because once it's eliminated out of the cable, it's gone. Now I'm going to replace this cable out of the back of the microphone and basically remove all of this gack and replace it with the EMC connector. The reason why I'm not just going to plug it in line is because the whole idea behind it is to put a circuit board in there that eliminates a lot of RFI issues and EMI issues, and it basically is all in the circuit board right here. If it ties to the connector shell here, but then it doesn't connect up here because we're not connecting up that line, it serves no real purpose, right? So what I'm going to do is connect it up, bypassing all of this. So basically we're going to go out of the XLR through this EMC line. Let me go ahead and do that. Oh, but first you can hear that still there. So let's check this out. Okay, so now this boom is connected up. Listen. You can hear me rubbing the microphone. You don't hear anything else. It sounds to me like the background noise has actually gone down a little bit too, which is unexpected. Now, this is not a fix, because AKG still owes me some more repairs, and I have tweeted them. Hopefully they'll respond and actually get on the ball on this, because I'd like this thing actually fixed this time. It's not just me that loves the EMC connectors, it's also the AES, the Audio Engineering Society. And if you don't believe me, go to their website down in the description and check it out for yourself. Now, you've seen in this video that 2 of the 3 methods that I used actually did help a bit. The first one that I did was connecting up the connector shell of the microphone itself to pin 1, the ground. And by doing that, it actually helped by basically eliminating the floating ground off of the microphone and grounding it to the regular system. The second method didn't work at all. We severed line 1 and we left lines 2 and 3 untouched. Then we connected up the connector shells between the 2 connectors. That didn't work because the connectors are not grounded to anything, so why in the world should it matter that they're grounded to each other? The third thing we tested, the EMC connector, is the very best of all. Not only does it completely eliminate the ground loops out of this microphone, it kind of seemed to reduce the background noise just a little bit. It's still very active and garbage sounding, but that's not the fault of the EMC. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say it yet again. AKG, Harman, please fix this microphone the right way this time. I know you're capable of it, okay? So there you have it. If you have any kind of ground loops or RFI issues, then try connecting up pin 1 of your XLR connector to the connector shell, at least on the female end, so that way the floating ground of the microphone is eliminated and tied in with the ground of your system. If that doesn't work, definitely you want to try an EMC connector, and I would actually say go for that anyway. That is sound advice. Have a question you'd like answered or want to add something? Be sure to write it in the comment section down below. You can also make a suggestion for future topics of discussion. Again, comment section down below, or you can email me at soundspeeds@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss out on future sound advice.